Already into November. It's crazy. I just wanted to share with everyone that if you have any questions while Anne or Aaron or Joe or anybody is talking, grade chairs, etc., throw them in the chat, and I will look at them and be sure that that they get addressed, because I forgot to mention that last meeting. So I just wanted to remind everyone that the chat is being monitored and to feel free to use it. Anne is going to start us off because Dr. Montesano is not able to join us this evening.
Thank you, Amy. Dr. Montesano, Roy is at the NPC committee meeting, which happens to be at this time, so he's sorry he couldn't be here. We decided not to reschedule this because I had said that we record it now, and on Zoom you can literally rewatch the meeting and feel like you didn't miss anything. So hopefully anyone who is at that meeting can watch ours at a later time if they would like to. I send it out usually the next morning, a YouTube link. So good evening, everybody. Thanks for joining us. As Amy said, not only can I not believe it's November, it's the end of the first quarter on Friday, which is unbelievable. A quarter of the school year is concluding. So we've had a really exciting first quarter. I'm just gonna share some recent events. It's really felt like a normal year, and I think everyone appreciates everything so much more now. And there's just a lot of joy and excitement and just happiness in the halls with the teachers, with the students. And we're getting into some of the things that make high school fun. And I think we're really, really enjoying them together. So I guess it was 2 weeks ago, we had some Halloween celebrations and they were pretty close to normal. We had our seniors dress up in their costumes. There was a costume contest. The third graders came out, and I don't know if you saw pictures, but our seniors lined up along the sidewalk in the front of the school, and the third graders kind of like came through in their costumes, and the seniors cheered for them. And if you're not aware, what we do at the end of senior week in the spring is we have the elementary school line up and the seniors walk through them. So we try to add a little something at the beginning of the year for the seniors to kind of cheer on the elementary school students, because we'll close that loop at the end of the year. So that was a lot of fun. And then our seniors, thank you to the senior class chairs for hosting a lunch for the seniors. Then our seniors were able this year to together watch the high school play, The Crucible. Hopefully you were able to see it. It was a phenomenal production. The weather it held, and it was perfect for the show. It was kind of cold and windy and cloudy on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Rob Cross, the cast and the crew just did a tremendous job. And on Friday, it was great. Our seniors were able to watch it, and a lot of their classmates were in it. So it was actually kind of fun. The stage, which was outdoors on two sides, was surrounded by bleachers. And if you looked at the bleachers and you didn't know a play was going on, it looked like everyone was at a football game, like under their blankets, but they were actually all there together watching the play. And at the end, really cheering on the cast and the crew. It was such a nice event. In fact, I think next year we'll probably keep the play around that same time. Usually the play is a week later and it gets a little complicated with the end of the quarter. So we actually really liked this timing. And it was nice to have the seniors be able to be an audience for the show. For those whose children are in chorus, you may know that Miss Simpson has been on leave. We hope to have her returning soon, but in the meantime, we have a leave replacement who's actually the chorus teacher who Miss Simpson replaced. So she's our former chorus teacher. So it was really nice. She started, I think, last week, and I could hear the singing in the halls as the class concluded. So she'll be there until Miss Simpson returns, and some communication will go out from Miss Simpson, but grading for the first quarter is going to be just like pass fail for those students, because it's not fair to give them a grade at this point, given the leave replacements and everything for chorus. Also, if your child is interested in the high school musical, we are planning to have it. It may get shifted a little bit later in the spring, but Miss Simpson is planning to direct it, and she's having a information session. I think it's tomorrow at 3 over Zoom. So the Zoom link's on the week ahead for any students interested. Please make sure they attend that. Also, during our Halloween celebrations, another new event took place that I think everyone loved so much. I believe it's going to continue in the future, which was during lunchtime, our Autism Awareness Club actually took the elementary and middle school special classes trick-or-treating around the building. I don't know if you saw the pictures. Those are also on our website with a story. The offices and a lot of the high school clubs were in different locations with candy for the kids. And it was just a really wonderful event. So again, these are the types of things we did in the past and I think took for granted, and they're just extra special this year to be able to have. Also wanted to mention, obviously, our successful sports teams. I'm sure Joe will talk a little bit about it, but our girls cross country team will be traveling to states this weekend. They just won the section. And our girls soccer team will be traveling to states this weekend. On Friday, they won regionals. And if you follow me on Twitter, which I hope you do, you would have seen some fun photos, because we actually arranged for a fan bus on Friday. And we brought up 46, I believe, seniors, the hour-and-a-half trip on a yellow bus up to the game. I will be honest with you, I don't think the capacity of a yellow bus is 46 seniors, maybe 46 elementary students, but it was pretty tight on the bus, although they had a great time. And they cheered on the girls soccer team and the seniors on the team. And if you go on Twitter, you will see a video. It was not supposed to be possible that they would run onto the field at the conclusion of the game. I would have stopped them, but there were literally state troopers right by the fence. And I thought the police will stop them, but they didn't. So you'll see the whole fan bus ran onto the field for about 30 seconds before they were cleared off. But again, just like really fun, great memories, great times, especially for our seniors who, you know, have been so impacted by COVID over the course of their high school, their 4 years of high school. It was a lot of fun. I did have to make them stand up and cheer the second half because they were all sitting. And I told them we did not order a fan bus for them to sit in the stands. So it was a great time. Coming up, conclusion of the first quarter, not the fourth quarter. First quarter is Friday. So things can get a little bit busy this week for kids because teachers are trying to get things done, conclude units. This is why, hopefully you noticed, we did do all X block days this week, and faculty are in their rooms every day from 11 to 11:30 in addition to extra help, so that students can stop by and ask any questions, make sure their assignments in, etc. We've heard a lot of good feedback from students and teachers about that. Students are taking advantage of it. Teachers are having kids come in, finish things up. So that's gone really well. And that's probably something we'll repeat in the future. Just a little bit of information for those of you who are maybe new to the high school or even 10th grade parents, since high school wasn't necessarily normal last year. Things are getting back to normal. We're having bake sales. Our 10th graders did a raffle a couple weeks ago. Our 9th graders are doing a raffle. And what I would just say in general in high school, which is a little bit different than elementary and middle school, is that we really look to the students to generate ideas about what they want to do. And then we help facilitate planning those things. We in the high school and the parent chairs for each grade and the faculty advisors, we don't plan things for high school students. That is for a couple of reasons. Number one, they won't come if we plan it. There have been great ideas generated by parents in the past. We run them by the kids and the kids say, no, no one's going to go to that. So, you know, things you might think would be a lot of fun, high schoolers maybe would disagree. Second thing is, it's really, and probably most importantly, an essential learning experience, particularly for our leaders in each grade, to actually logistically organize an event. Again, our faculty advisor, Aaron, myself, Marcellus, we're all there to help. But, you know, figuring out just simple things like, is the space available? Did you reserve it? Did you put in a work order for it to be set up? Are there going to be custodians? Did you talk to security? All these little things that maybe any of us would know to do immediately, our high schoolers don't always know that. And I would say probably even more so now, since they, you know, they haven't had necessarily the full range of experiences that they might have at this point in their high school experience. So, you know, sometimes parents will reach out to me, they'll reach out to Amy. Oh, can we organize this? We want to do this for the kids. I love it, but our focus is really, and we can bring that to the kids and see if they want to put something together, like a dance, like a movie night, like they're actually, SFL is looking to organize a 3-on-3 basketball tournament right before Thanksgiving. They're calling it the Turkey Bowl. So totally, we're all open to those ideas, but it's really going to be up to the kids to try to figure out if anyone else wants to do that and also pull together the event. So I just want to clarify that because it's a little bit different than the way things work in elementary and middle. I'm sure you can understand the kids are ready for it. Finally, I did want to mention we do have, oh, sure, Liana, I'll get to that in a second. I did want to mention that the library, the public library, has a new teen room that is a fantastic space. So, of course, we have a lot of great spaces, particularly in the last year. We've added the Learning Commons, we have the atrium. So that's all during the school day, and our students use it all the time, and they utilize it effectively. And so I just wanted to make parents aware that the library after school hours is a place where kids can go to utilize the teen room to finish their homework, meet with the group, anything like that. Lauren, did you want to say something?
Yeah, I was just going to add to that they can go really anytime during the day. So if they have a free period, or if you don't want them at home and you'd like them at school, you know, please, on behalf, I'm just speaking on behalf of the library, we would love to have the kids, and it's a fantastic space. We're really excited about it.
Thanks, Lauren. Just to answer Liana's question about mastery grading, I honestly don't know who Kavita Singh is, so I can't tell you anything about what she has proposed regarding mastery grading. We're part of an organization called Mastery, the Mastery Transcript Consortium. And the idea behind that is to explore different ways that a transcript might be organized to display student learning. At this point, we're really just part of the conversation. This is one of those things where we might be a part of an organization just to keep in the loop in terms of what other schools are doing. This organization started mostly as high performing private schools like the Spence School, Andover, trying to think of who else in the city. Aaron, you might remember. Anyway, you can look at their websites, mastery.org, to see all their members. And we were the first public school to join. What we are, and actually at the board meeting next week, if you want to hear about this, I'm going to talk briefly, maybe one slide about it. What we're looking at is whether we might pilot some mastery assessing, which is looking at competencies that students would master in a course. So for instance, critical thinking, communication, collaboration, like you would assess whether students were doing that effectively in a course. And we would be looking at maybe doing some of that work next spring in senior electives. So this would be students who most likely have already gotten into college. The second semester senior year, we would be looking at what would be the competencies we might want to see if students master by the time they graduate. And those competencies exist within the Bronxville Promise that we've already developed with the 4 dispositions, but it would be a little bit more than the general dispositions. It would get into more specifics. We'll have a visual next week for the board meeting that shows kind of what the transcript looks like. And again, we're not going towards a mastery transcript. We do think these ideas are interesting because it's a different kind of a measure. It's not like saying to a student, you got a 90. Okay, what does that mean? We would say to a student, you've really demonstrated mastery of critical thinking, and we think you need to do some more work around collaboration. That was not a strength of yours in this project that you did. So it gives kids a different kind of feedback. If you want to learn more, mastery.org is the organization we're a part of. I'm going to say again, I have no idea who Kavita Singh is, so I can't comment on how that's connected to the work we're doing. But our work was, I think the founder of that organization, it was a lot of people from the college board. And then the college, Kavita Singh, I think I know who Kavita Singh. Kavita Singh was the student whose transcript was shown on the slide. She was a student at a school, I think probably a charter school, and her work, she was a senior in a high school, and that was her transcript. Now it's coming together. And she was displaying, this was a sample transcript they provide because one of the schools they work with, their students produce mastery transcripts. Her work, the students' work, was around social justice. So it had nothing to do with mastery.org. That was that particular student's visual of their transcript. It was just showing an example of how a student's transcript might look. There was exactly, Jen Redmond, correct. There was a article recently about mastery.org in the Washington Post, so you can read more about it there as well. This is, again, I'll just say it, and I don't want to belabor it, but this is an organization we're a part of to be part of a conversation with leading private and public schools across the country and now the world, who are looking at these ideas and thinking about them. And we will continue to be in communication with the students and parents about where we may try some of these things out, and we'll continue to be transparent about it. But these are just ideas we're kind of in conversation with other leading educators about. We don't want to be left out of those conversations because they're really important, but we're also not going to adopt something without having a lot of transparent conversations with the board, with the community, with students, with parents. So that's where we're at right now. Maybe Amy, it might make sense for me to show some of that at the next meeting, just so everyone sees it. Because if that was just the board workshop, there'll be a slide next week in the board meeting, but it's very minimal. And Liana, why don't I come back next time and show some more detail around it? I think it'll make more sense if you guys see some images. But I'm so glad I realized Kavita Singh was just a student at a school, and that was her sample transcript. So hopefully that clarifies it. Thanks, everybody.
Hey, Anne, quickly, I have been getting a few questions kind of surrounding SFL. So we know that we have officers for every grade, they're elected. And then are there open meetings? Like I know I'm sure there are, like during club time, and anyone can then go to those meetings. And is that the main resource for students that may not be very involved in SFL to share some ideas or about things they'd like to see happen. And then I would also ask, is there another avenue for those students who may not feel comfortable bringing up ideas maybe with that specific group of students?
Sure.
And
Thank you for that. That's a great question. So we have grade level elected positions. So you have a 9th grade president, vice president, secretary, treasurer, and SFL reps. We have that for every grade. Those elections happen at the end of the school year, except for 9th grade, which happens at the beginning of high school. In addition to that, there's also SFL. SFL stands for Student Faculty Legislature. It's basically student government. And so there's a president, vice president, secretary, treasurer of SFL. SFL meets every week, Thursday, 11:20. It's on the week ahead in the Learning Commons. Anyone is welcome to come. SFL has an Instagram page. They have a Google Classroom. Kids can sign up for either of those. The information is on there, but you don't have to sign up to come to a meeting. Aaron and I go to every meeting every week just because it's a good place to hear, you know, is anything coming up that we need to deal with. I'll tell you, one of the biggest issues, and Aaron, you'll be happy to know this, I think I've resolved it, is that currently the drinking fountains are not open due to COVID, and high school students would like us to reopen the drinking fountains. So that's the type of thing that can come up at SFL. Other things come up too. And what the way SFL this year they're doing it, they've created subcommittees within SFL. And so students have joined subcommittees. One is like a communications committee, and I think there's 2 event committees. And as I mentioned, one of those committees is organizing this 3-on-3 tournament. Another one of those committees is looking to do like a t-shirt fundraiser with the Eastchester Fire Department to raise money for 9/11 survivors. So the students will generate those ideas and then work together to make something happen. And the other thing they discuss every week is what they call quality of life issues. So they'll just open it up. Are there any quality of life issues? Drinking fountains are one of them. A working printer in the library for students to print their assignments is a recent quality of life issue. I'll make an announcement like, hey, I'm thinking about doing X-Block days at the end of the quarter. What do you guys think? We'll have a little discussion. So it's sort of like an open forum and a place where things get organized and done. The grade presidents come to that meeting, and the SFL reps for each grade come to that meeting, and anyone else can come. But the grade presidents report at that meeting what's going on in each grade. And they also take back to their grade leadership what's happening in SFL. The grade level leaders meet less often. I would say they meet like once every 2 or 3 weeks if they're going to get closer to an event. Like our 9th grade kids will probably meet more often leading up to Andrus. Our juniors meet more often leading up to prom. They meet with their faculty advisor. So there's a lot of communication between SFL and grade level leadership, but they're somewhat separate. The sort of week to week, I have a problem, I want to bring it up and share it, is probably the SFL. But if a student's not comfortable doing that in that forum, they could go to the grade level advisor. They could email me. They could email Peter Cocolette. He's the SFL president, any of those things. Does that help, Amy?
Very much. Thank you. Yeah, that's helps a lot. Excellent. Do you have anything else, Ann? No. All right. Aaron, you're up.
Thanks, Amy. Good evening, everybody. It's nice to see you all. I guess I just want to mention about the end of the quarter. So Friday is the end of the quarter, and for the following few days after Friday, the grading tab on Infinite Campus will be inaccessible. So if your child needs to double check that everything's been turned in, like the next few nights would be a good time to do so, because while the teachers are inputting final assignments and calculating grades, you can't see that from day to day. And then next Thursday afternoon is when the first quarter grades will be finalized, and you'll be able to see first quarter grades. I emailed the senior class for those that have applied early to college, which is the majority of students, as it was last year and the year before that, and will be next year. Those grades may be required by college, and we will communicate with the senior class about that, separately. Another sort of other happenings in our department. Last week, I believe it was, we had our junior college night. We had a panel from the representative from Johns Hopkins, Lafayette, and the University of Georgia joined us and just kind of spoke about sort of the nuts and bolts about college admissions and holistic admissions and standardized testing. So that I thought was really great. And following that, the counselor spoke a little bit about sort of services and programs to expect for the junior class internally for the rest of the year. That information was emailed out. So if you have a junior and you didn't see that, feel free to reach out to me. I can send that to you again. And that was last week. I will say, and I also emailed this evening, we are going to have a financial aid night for seniors and juniors. Our financial aid night historically has been in December of senior year. And I just, after last week, and there were some discussions about cost and things of that nature, I felt like for junior families to get that information sooner rather than later would be better. So we're opening that up to juniors and seniors, and that's December 13th at 7 o'clock. And one of the assistant directors at Fordham Financial Aid is going to come speak to us. That'll be on Zoom. A few other things. Next week, we have another freshman transition meeting. I was actually thinking that maybe in a subsequent high school council meeting, we can share more about this amazing resource that some of our high school students put together for the ninth graders. So I will obviously send this out after we present it, but some students put together like sort of really a crash course in executive functioning, time management, planning, how to best use Google Classroom, how to best use Google Calendar. One young student in the junior class walked us through a 3-minute screencast about how to use a time tree. I'm still watching that video because that was impressive. So there's a lot of really good stuff. So next week, we are going to meet with the seniors, and Ms. Diaguardi and the counselors are going to share that information with the seniors, and then the seniors in the second half of D block are going to share that information with the ninth graders. Following that, I'll share all of that information with actually the entire high school, not just the ninth grade parents. Also for ninth grade, the counseling department is going to be meeting in small groups with the ninth graders tomorrow and on Friday, just to kind of have like a check-in at the end of the quarter to see how everybody's doing. We have a nice little fun activity planned with some leftover Halloween candy. And so we will be doing that this week. And then lastly, I'm just reading my notes. Lastly, back to the study skills. I'm going to talk to Anne and figure out how to present that information to the 10th graders as well, because I feel like the 10th graders are always a little bit of that forgotten child, which I am very mindful of. So I'm trying not to forget them. So we're going to find a way to present that information to the class, that 10th grade class as well. And then maybe not most importantly, but newest, starting next week on Tuesday during X block, a school counselor, school psychologist, or a psychology intern will have some open drop-in hours in the fireplace room during, again, the transition block to just help with anything and all things executive functioning. So planning, time management, cleaning out the binder, things of that nature. You all are the first to hear about it. I will send out an email to the students and to the parents by the end of the week, along with the teachers, to let the students know that we are available to do that. And so we'll do that once a week until the end of the school year, essentially. Again, just trying to find more entry points to support the students now that we are, to Ann's point, kind of back in session and full steam ahead. For some of them, it's the training wheels are taking a little bit longer to come off, given the reacclimation into the fast pace of high school. Now that all the Zoom is over and the desk shields are down, and so we want to support them to the best of our ability. With that, I will happy to answer any questions, but that's all from me.
Aaron, one thing that I have also been hearing is that I think to your point, you probably have already handled this, is that there's not necessarily because of COVID, in fact, not because of COVID, but magnified because of COVID, the jump from freshman year to 10th grade, especially in the Bronxville school, is pretty drastic, because mostly because we have a lot of 10th graders that decide to take usually multiple APs, right? They don't even just start out taking one, they take multiples, and it's a very different experience than freshman year. So I am hearing a fair number of, I have a 10th grader, so it's probably one of the reasons why I'm hearing it, but I'm hearing a fair number of parents and students who really, I think could maybe use some walking through what that jump looks like. My oldest definitely felt it as well. So I think that, and I think the AP grading, how APs are graded, also might be a good topic maybe for you to address at some point at a grade level meeting or something. It's I think it almost to the 10th grade families, because that's the other thing I'm hearing a lot about, is it feels very different than regular class grading. So maybe just some feedback I'm getting.
If I can comment, Amy, that's really helpful. And to be honest with you, I think we need to have a conversation with the 9th grade parents and students about their course selection for their sophomore year, and this idea that we need to rush to take as many APs as possible, where at many schools, there are no APs allowed in 10th grade. And then the other thing I'll comment about is that a large number of students take AP chemistry in 10th grade. As a former chemistry and biology and former AP bio and AP environmental science teacher, I can say, not only is that incredibly difficult, the course is a very difficult. AP science is probably second most difficult after physics. They're taking it after having a semester of chemistry, not a year, a semester. And if you think about last year, and we've talked about this, and I've talked about it with the science teachers in particular, you could have had kids who did virtually no labs in 9th grade in their chemistry course, and now they're in AP chemistry. I mean, it is a big jump. Now, counseling people to not do that is a big challenge, because when it feels like everyone is, then, to be the student who doesn't, or the parent who tells their child not to, is not easy. But I have to say, it is extremely stressful. Now, the other thing I will say is that when kids get to junior year, they're a little bit better prepared for the stress level there, because they know how to manage their time. But the tradition, I'm going to put that in quotes, at Bronxville, of a lot of kids taking AP chemistry in particular, I will say in 10th grade, is very hard for kids. It is a real challenge. It's hard to move away from that, unfortunately, but I don't love the idea, and I'm a big science proponent, and I just think that's tough for kids. So we're gonna, you make a very good point, and I think maybe having some real conversations with parents as we get to the point where our current 9th graders are signing up for classes would be quite helpful. We have those grade level course sign up meetings where we try to be honest with kids. We have a time management sheet we adapted from Challenge Success to try to help kids and parents understand what you're committing to when you commit to one or more APs. And we ask people to consider there are only 24 hours in the day. And by the way, your child in high school should be getting at least 8 hours of sleep a night. I know that that doesn't happen always, but for their brain to develop appropriately, that's what they should be getting. So, you know, it's a challenge, but thank you for pointing that out to us. And I don't know, Aaron, if you had anything to add.
Yeah, no, I think you kind of took the words right out of my mouth. I mean, I will say, you know, especially compared to in comparison to last year, to go from last year into 10th grade, taking potentially more than one college level class, one of those, you know, likely being chemistry, it's a big jump. And, you know, we've had discussions as a faculty, we've had discussions as a counseling department. You know, we are committed to providing the most information we can for students and parents leading up to these decisions. You know, Anne talked about the grade level meetings. I think we're working on something in addition to that for next year's course selection. The students actually, I believe this was actually last year, surveyed the entire school to find out about how much work and how much homework and how quote unquote hard each class is. Franny Krause and others as part of SFL have put together some work that you'll see when it gets a little bit closer to course selection in January, of just students' feedback about their experience in these classes. So we're, you know, again, we're committed to helping parents and students make the most educated decision they can about courses. I think this year in particular was like a perfect storm of a lot of change from last year into this year, and then layering in these college level classes. And for some students, you know, playing soccer or playing football, you know, like the seasons kept on, the sports kept on going on and on, which, you know, took away time from, you know, their studies. But, you know, to Anne's point, we will continue having these conversations and look to see what we can do.
Yeah, I think that would be great. And I think the other piece of all that is there is, like it or not, there is a culture in Bronxville. And that culture is to take as many APs as you can and to take them as early as you can. And to your point, you know, I have another kid at another school, and there are no AP. You're not taking an AP your freshman or sophomore year. And by the way, they get into college just fine. But this culture in Bronxville is we got to take as many so we can get into college, and we got to be. So I think that bigger piece too of what do we do as a school culture, a community culture. And I know it's hard. I mean, I know it's hard. But anyway, that sounds like I think it needs to be, to your point, an ongoing discussion that you obviously are very aware of. So. All right. Anything else, Aaron?
No, nothing else. No.
So Aaron, on our next meeting in January, will that be when you might talk a little bit more about the freshman transition? Do you want that to happen at the high school council meeting?
Yeah, I can talk to Anne and you know, the rest of the faculty members that are part of that structure to see what makes sense. Yeah, we can plan for something like that. Yeah.
Okay. Great. All right. Thank you. Joe, you're up with, wow, what a big week it's been, couple weeks it's been for you.
Good evening, everyone. Actually, it's been a great fall for athletics, and you know, we're concluding up this week with, as Ann said, girls soccer and girls cross country, both upstate, Cortland State, and then just south of Binghamton. So we wish both those teams good luck. And most of our fall teams had great success this year, with everybody playing in either semifinals or finals, and cross countries, boys and girls competing in sectional. So we've really had a very positive fall. Our tennis athlete, we had a tennis athlete advance to the States, and we had some tennis athletes compete in the sectional final. So we really had a super competitive fall. It's nice to see kids back outside, running around, competing, getting back to normal for us. So that's a nice thing. It's even nicer today to go outside and see, you know, the elementary school kids outside for recess. So that's been a real positive. And speaking of real positive, we've done our signups now for fall sports. As you may know, winter sports. They begin Monday, the 15th for all the high school sports. And currently we have 366 kids signed up on Family ID, registered, ready to go. And I'm sure more will jump on once they realize it begins Monday. And that's just outstanding participation. Our modifieds are going to start a little bit later. They're going to start after we come back from Thanksgiving, all except for the squash and the hockey. Hockey needs a certain amount of practices in, so they're starting the 22nd. But we're ready to go. The nurses have done a very nice job. Many of the students, a huge number are already cleared. I always recommend to parents check it just to make sure, because a lot of times a note will be attached to a student's file where they need to finish up registering their children. So, but we're ready to go. Monday, a practice schedule. Dawn will send out a schedule starting tomorrow, an email that outlines all the practice locations and facilities. And when we start the first 2 weeks of practice, the schedule will come out tomorrow afternoon. So parents will all know where that is. A couple important announcements about the winter season though. So we're sort of going back to what happened last winter. So for indoor sports, the athletes will be in masks. We're still the government, we're still having a mask, so kids will be playing in masks. Spectators, a little different this year. We will be allowing spectators into our home games, but they'll be limited. What we're going to do, obviously we don't have a lot of seated area in our gym. The gym is not the biggest. So we're gonna invite each player will get 4 passes for family members, and the visiting team will get 2 passes for the visiting families, because our parents should be able to watch their children play. We'll have passes to give out once teams are established, so all the kids will have them to hand to their family, and we'll still do a check-in policy. We won't be taking temperatures or anything like that, but we are still requiring every single person who comes into the building will be wearing masks and masked up during the game, and we expect social distancing to continue. Every school is going to have their own policies for what they're doing. I know some schools are allowing 2 people per athlete. Some schools said, you know what, send as many, our gym is huge, send as many as you want. It just really depends upon each individual school district. But when I met with Roy about it, we felt for safety, our bleachers aren't the biggest. So we need to keep some space between the visiting team and our team, the parents, excuse me. And that's why we felt those numbers are pretty fair for everybody. One important piece of information is just on the boys basketball side, we have about 125 kids signed up for boys basketball. That's varsity through modified. So with speaking with Roy and Dan Carlin, today we've decided that we're going to add a freshman B basketball team. So now we're going to have 2 freshman basketball teams, an A and a B, to accommodate the amount of athletes that we do have signed up. Also, too, like we've done in the past, we will have for the modified level, because right now there's 56 boys signed up for modified, and there's 37 girls signed up for modified, which are great numbers. We'll have our travel teams, but we're also going to have house our house teams again. So that way all students will participate in basketball. It just depends on if they'll be in a travel team or if they'll be in the house league. So we're trying to make it so that all the kids get an opportunity to participate, at least during their modified years. As you know, when it comes to indoor sports, sometimes cuts have to be made. So we're trying to avoid that until we get the highest possible spot for athletes. So we're trying to get the young athletes to participate as much as we can at a young age. And the last thing is we do have some banquets coming up, and with Anthony's help, Balika's help, and the students' help, they decided that for our awards banquet, for the first one, which will take place, I believe, the first week of December, because numbers, again, are concerned, the senior parents will be able to attend the awards banquet this year, which is a little different. Last year, we had no parents. We're trying to build it back slowly. So for this year, we're going to have 2 sessions, basically 4 teams in each session. We're going to ask the parents to stay for the entire time of the session. The session will have about last no more than an hour. We're going to ask the parents to stay for that, so that every kid gets treated fairly. Parents sit down. We do an hour session. We take a 10-minute break. Next group comes in. We do it all in one night. It will be, on our YouTube channel, and then we'll take that video and put it on our school website afterwards. So it's really been a great fall for us. And now we're really, believe it or not, we're transitioning already right into the winter season. I do see a question on here. So let me see. Oh, that is an AP question out there. I thought it was athletics. So we'll, Aaron, you can handle those ones.
I think it was more of a comment. from
okay.
the college credit given for APs. But
Okay.
Joe, can you also, we are also having student fans at the games limited, right?
Yes, and that's what we're gonna talk about, the size of student fans on discussion. We've discussed with Roy. We're gonna see how it goes, but we're thinking between 20 and 30 student fans at each game. Just keep in mind, we have to seat the visiting teams, JV or varsity behind their bench. We have to seat our JV or varsity behind our personal bench. So there's not a ton of room for spectators, obviously with social distancing. We'd love to have a full gym for every game, but just right now, we're not in a point where we should be doing that yet. That will be something that we will do some kind of a lottery system for each game. So that way we can rotate it through. I'm assuming we'll do, seniors first and work our way down. But we're trying to get children back in the building and back to support one another. Just unfortunately, our space is not huge in the gym. But it'll be great to have kids back in there. And I will say this, both gyms are up and ready to go. They look wonderful. If you get an opportunity to look at the gyms, the company did an amazing job. The floors are back in. Actually, Thursday, all the measurements will be made to make sure the heights are all at proper spacing, and all the bleachers will be clean, pulled out and clean. So we'll be ready to go on the 15th for our start of our winter season. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Joe. I know it's a lot of moving parts and logistics. It's exciting to have so many kids signed up to play winter sports. I mean, it's 356 is unbelievable. It's really exciting.
Yes, it is.
All right, we will let's go ahead and move on to our ninth grade chairs. I think I have all three of them on. So impressed, ladies. Any of you can give us any report you might have.
Yeah. Hi, I can start out. Sarah, you're on. You want to go, Sarah? You were on mute. You want to
Oh, okay. I'm not
start
muted.
us off?
Hi,
right.
everybody.
Hi.
Thank you very much. We are working on a couple of things with the ninth grade. The first one is working with the students on the Andrus Christmas gift drive that goes on. I don't think it's going to be in person, but we will do an in-person event with them in the spring. Another thing we are working on is rescheduling some sort of social event to replace or instead of the St. Vincent's dance. So we are just working with the kids in the grade and the SFL reps to poll the students as to what they're interested in, just sort of along the lines of what Anne was talking about earlier, getting some input from them about what they're interested in doing so that they attend. And we're just also waiting for the results. We had a raffle that took place last week, and the kids thought of the idea, ran it, did a great job, and we are raffling off, I believe, and Wendy or Carolyn, you can correct me, is it a month of chocolate chunkers cookies?
That's right.
Which I know everybody in town loves and wants. So we are just waiting for the results of the raffle, and we will let everybody know how that went as well. And I think that's it. If the other gals have anything to input, then they can. Otherwise, that's it for us.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the only thing I would add is we have a ton of interest of ninth grade parents of wanting to know what goes on in ninth grade and how the kids are doing from the perspective of the school. Sort of germane to what you're talking about with, the transition being different and what's been different about COVID. I think that ninth grade parents in particular might welcome a little forum to kind of discuss, how it's going and what to look for during the year, what to look forward to, how to support your, new high schooler the best way you can. Yeah.
Absolutely. And despite the fact that we've sort of just started the ninth grade, I do think that all of this information about how things will look in the next grade is super helpful. I've found it really informative and really interesting. And so thank you very much for all this amazing support.
Yeah, I think it sounds like Erin and Ann are going to work on putting together some kind of parent meeting, for lack of a better word, regarding, and again, not just speaking to scheduling of your sophomores, your 10th grade choices, but I do think that's a big topic that probably should be addressed. Probably, I mean, it probably has been, but I don't remember, I don't recall it. That doesn't mean anything. I don't remember anything anymore. But I think, but to your point, the high school is different. In a great way. That's why I was a high school teacher, because I think high school is the most fun, exciting experience up until that point that the kids have. So I think it would be great for the parents to have some ideas of these bigger issues that Ann and Erin were talking about. Sounds
Absolutely. And the executive functioning work, Erin, that you mentioned that some of the senior students have put together for the 9th graders, advice like that. I know our parents in our grade would absolutely love to get their hands on and see. So that is fantastic. And the 9th grade kids look up so much to the older grades. They just have stars in their eyes at this point in the year, at least my student does. And so all that information, I think, will really resonate with them.
great. Anything else? It sounds like you got it sounds actually like you got a fair amount of stuff going on, which is great.
It's great. It's fabulous.
Good. Anything else? Good. All right. Then we will move on to 10th grade. Again, I think I have all 3 of our grade chairs. So impressive. So who would like to start?
Yes, hi, everybody. Let's see, it's our 10th grade is going to sound very similar to the 9th grade. The 10th graders held a Halloween raffle. They did a great job. There was a Visa gift card and in a basket along with a boatload of candy. And apparently a 9th grader won the raffle. So the 10th graders, we were a little bit short on time, but they were able to pull it off. And we really had very little involvement, Carrie, Amy, and I. So kudos to them. They raised money, $100 for their class. So they didn't lose money. So that was great. And coming up, similar to 9th grade, we have our holiday gift drive, which benefits the VA, the Veterans Administration. So Dana Landesman is going to provide us with a wish list of just over, I guess, close to 100 gifts. And we, Carrie, Amy, and I will disperse this wish list. We're going to, I guess, disperse the gifts, collect the gifts, figure out which gifts they're asking for, and then we'll send out an Amazon link to parents. So the parents can purchase gifts through Amazon, and then I guess Dana will collect them, and then the gifts will benefit the VA. I don't know, that doesn't sound that clear. So I'm sorry if Amy or Carrie, if you want to add anything, please do. And that's about it for this year. I think that this year, we'll talk a little later about what's coming up for 2022.
Great, thank you. Amy or Carrie, do you have anything to add?
No, I think Janice summarized it well.
Great, fantastic. 11th grade, I think Vanessa, are you on?
Yes, hi there. Hi, everyone. Very, very brief. The 11th grade class just worked on a bake sale this past month, and the proceeds are going towards a charity of their choice that is most likely going to be for October's breast cancer awareness organization, and they are working on trying to figure out what that's going to be, or which organization exactly is going to receive these funds. And they used a Bronxville boy who is in charge of chocolate chunkers, and he gave them a bulk pricing, and then they were able to raise funds from that bake sale. And I think aside from that, as well as the mock SAT, that will probably be it for the junior class for a little while, at least until they start to think about something for the spring. And that's pretty much it.
And then Vanessa,
Yeah.
I did get a couple requests, which I think you'll do this anyway, but when you do your mock ACT and SAT fundraiser again in the spring, I did get a couple requests from 10th grade families if they could be included in the in like the first round of flyer. But
Okay.
I think maybe because it's spring and they're starting to think about it more, but just something to think about. I don't know if you want to do that or not, but I had about 4 or 5 sophomore parents ask me to check on that. So,
Okay, you and I will check on that offline.
sounds good. All right.
Perfect. Thank you.
And let's see. I don't know if this is kind of, do we have any of our, did I see Ashley on here? I don't know if we have any of our senior grade chairs. It's so funny. It's like they get to the point where they know the deal and they don't have to come on, and nothing to report in the fall. Seniors are so heavily laden with applications right now I'm going to report for them. That's going to be the report. Seniors are hard at work. I don't see anyone on, so we must not have too much going on yet. I know they did do a nice job with providing the lunch for the seniors over that Halloween time and everything, but nobody on. So we'll keep moving because I know it's getting late. So Kiara, I know you're on.
I am. Hi, everyone. I just wanted to give a quick report from hospitality. This year, high school hospitality joined forces with middle school and elementary school so that we could have a district-wide hospitality teacher appreciation, staff appreciation luncheon. It was held on the 19th, and we purchased grab-and-go lunches from Nutmeg and had nice beverages, and it was really well received, and it was nice to do it as a district-wide event for everybody. So it's those PTA dollars hard at work, and thanked everybody for helping to put it together through all 3 schools.
No, it was great. I got a lot of good feedback, by the way, on doing it, at least at a minimum, doing middle school and high school together. And I know that all 3 did. But I think that was one of the unintended consequences of COVID, as there are so many. And I think it worked out really well. So thank you.
I agree. Thanks.
All right, moving on to Bold.
Yeah, hi Amy.
Hi
It's Neve
there.
here. How are you? Just quickly, I know, yes, it is getting late. So we had our first Bold Council meeting 2 weeks ago, and it was fantastic. We had a wonderful overview from all our departments in the school about the support services that that is available to our students. With 504s, IEPs, and our special classes, and that is recorded. And if any family needs to look at it, definitely go onto our Bold, under the PTA, go onto Bold, and at the very bottom of our page, you will see the recording. And we also had our first Bold special class gathering on November 3rd with all the special classes, and we had a bunch of the Bronxville administration there. So it was so great to do that outside. And we're having our next Bold Social on November 18th. So if anyone, has a child with a 504 IEP or in special classes, we will be at Coles next Thursday, November 18th at 6 p.m. We would love for you to join us. It's our first gathering since COVID in person, which is great. And basically that's it. So hopefully we'll see some of you there at Coles next Thursday. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Jen Redmond had to drop off, but she did want me to mention a couple things Be Well, that Be Well has going on. They are working on bringing the social dilemma to the school. And Ned Hallowell will be back in February to speak, which is great. They're going to work on an all-school read on empathy and kindness. And they're also bringing back psychologist Alec Miller, sort of for an Ask Me Anything session. So they have a lot going on. I know there's a lot more they've been looking at doing and thinking about. If you have any interest at all in, mental health, social, emotional learning, anything, this is a very active committee, and they're always looking for new people. So I highly recommend you get involved. That's their update. Reka, I know you're on and want to talk, and Leah, I know you are as well. For DEI.
Leah, you want me to go first or you want to go first? Is Leah on?
I just hopped on to listen. You go ahead.
Oh, okay. Hi, everyone. I guess, a quick update on the DEI Bronxville Unity Group. It was newly launched just middle of last year, and we've been doing once a month open forum discussion type of event on DEI subjects. Could be workshops or learning, sharing, open forum, parent discussion. Last month we did for the National Hispanic Heritage Month, we did the movie screening in the Heights at the Bronxville Library Jaeger Room. We also had invited from the movie, the choreographer came in for the panel discussion. So it was a great event. This month, last week was the Diwali for Hindu celebration, and we're doing November 14 June event, 7 to 8 p.m. Very family friendly, learning about Diwali around the world, how it's done, and around Bronxville. And we have a Rangoli kit for the kids distributed. It's already 78 kids signed up, 38 families. So if you haven't signed up and interested in learning about Diwali and what goes on around the world and our community, please join us. And please look forward to every month we will have something if we can. So there's going to be something coming up in December or January, hopefully. So look for an email from DEI. Anything you want to add?
I'm sorry, where do people sign up for?
It was the email went out from PTA DEI already. So if you hasn't, I think we've already have like 78 kids signed up. Leah's gonna send it out tonight again for a reminder. So you'll see it. It comes from the membership toolkit. We'll probably close out the registration because we only have certain number of supplies. So.
Okay. Great, fantastic. That's another great turnout.
Yeah, it's great.
It's exciting. Anything else?
Not for me. Yeah. Anything, Leah?
No.
Okay. Amy, you're up for foundation.
Sorry, Amy, I was muted. Good evening, everybody. The Foundation's annual community drive has begun, and hopefully by now you've received your mailing from the Foundation. As so many of you know, the Foundation grants have been instrumental in providing resources to the school to help navigate the challenges of the pandemic. And the Foundation Board continues to work with the administration and the faculty to identify new needs and best practices in our evolving learning environment. The Foundation relies on the support of our school families, local community, alumni to fund these important resources. So we hope you'll all consider making a donation. To maximize your contribution, we would love if you would check the matching gift programs in your household. Our goal is 100% participation from school families. The Katie Welling Run and Walk. This event is traditionally held on the Saturday of the Thanksgiving holiday weekend. Given the COVID-related restrictions, the walk will be virtual again this year. For maximum safety and flexibility, we invite participants to run or walk or bike at any time from November 15th to 30th. Walking or running on a treadmill, riding a stationary bike at home are also great ways to participate. Please register to participate on the Foundation's website. There's no registration fee this year. but a tax deductible contribution would be welcomed and all donations will benefit the foundation. Also, and finally, 2 recent off-cycle grants this year have stemmed from grants that were approved and implemented last year based on the success of the high school's outdoor musical last spring, the Crucible that Ms. Meyer was talking about earlier. The school decided to stage another outdoor production this fall, and the foundation again provided the funding for a sound engineer and the rental of the audio equipment. The production and the sound quality were really amazing, so that went really well. And in addition, feedback from the elementary school faculty using the front row sound systems, maybe you guys have heard about them, it's been so positive that the foundation approved a grant to purchase those systems for the middle school classrooms as well.
Oh,
And that's it
fantastic.
for me.
Great. Thank you so much. All right. Yes, the plug, of course, is to please join PTA. Please join the foundation. They both do very fantastic things, but different things. So membership in both is ideal.
Amy, we forgot one thing. Joe
Oh.
forgot one thing.
Yes.
Do you mind if, go ahead, Joe.
Oh,
Yes, one very important announcement. So tomorrow, a great celebration for our 10 athletes so far that are signing their Division I national letters of intent to compete in college for their respective sports. So we're doing a signing tomorrow at 3 p.m. In the auditorium, and we're welcoming faculty to attend. Faculty actually will be introducing the student athletes this year. And this is another event which we'll do YouTube and then put on our website afterwards. But it really is great accolades for the parents and the student athletes who received an opportunity in scholarship-based need, and athletic-based need, excuse me, to participate at Division I athletics. So it's a really great event for our athletes. It's quite an accomplishment for them and for our coaches.
that's fantastic. Did you say 10?
Yes.
Wow, that's fantastic. Wonderful. Thank you for that. I don't think Christine is on. Tormy, again, always the plug for Youth Council. They do great stuff all throughout the year, all the time. So, and with that, I just want to say our next meeting is in January. So you'll notice on the agenda, the upcoming dates list is very long because I wanted to try to capture as much as I knew between now and our next meeting. So there's a lot going on thanks to the school from now until winter recess. So just utilize that and Anne's week ahead. If you have any questions at all, feel free to reach out to me. I'm sorry we went a little bit over, but thank you, everyone. We will see you next on January 11th. So everyone have a great Thanksgiving.
Thank you.